I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Just like the folks that we're going to talk to tonight. It's the Friday show, and we're going to have some people come in and tell us all about it. So stay tuned. It's a Friday show. You know what that means? Well, it means a lot of things. But lately, it means we've been bringing people in to talk to them. We've been making this somewhat of a call-in show. Look, I just recorded with Dr. Brett Shear. You guys probably heard him last week. But this show, you know, we used to have a Saturday show. People loved it, and I canceled that show. So we've brought the Saturday show back, and we're doing these live. What that means is I have no idea what these folks are going to talk about, and we're just doing it. As a matter of fact, Chris, are you there? Yeah, you're there.
I'm here.
Chris, I wonder if Paradise City is one, because we need to start finding bumper music for this show. That one rocks, bro. Come on.
It does. And you know what? That one, I mean, most of the stuff that we play is older than I am, but that entire album,
yeah,
rocks. Like that
album was the best of the day it was released, because every song on that album is a hit.
That's Appetite for Destruction, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, wait, it could be Use Your Illusion or Use Your Illusion 2.
No, I think it's Appetite. It's Paradise City, like, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, it sounds like Appetite. Yeah.
Night Train. Yeah.
Night Train. Night. I love all those songs, man. Anyway, we're not here to talk about rock and roll. We're here to talk to people and see if we can clear up a few problems. So, Chris, let's just jump right into it, because God only knows I don't want to be here all night. I got Hallmark Christmas movies to watch.
That's right. You got the Christmas beard rocking and rolling, the red T-shirt. You're going with what? Fitness Claus? Is that what you're going with?
Well, yeah, I want to be sexy old Santa. You know how the beard started? Do you know the impetus of the beard, me and the beard?
I don't think I do.
Well, Chris, as you may know, I am of Italian descent on both sides. And somewhere around my 11th or 12th birthday, I had to start shaving. The Italian girls usually don't start shaving until they're 15 or 20. But the boys,
13, but that's just me.
Yeah. So you had to start shaving early. And as soon as it starts, me and my brother, my older brothers, you know, we're Irish twins. We're 1 year apart. And we, you know, it was a hassle, right? It's like a thing. Back then, your face is tender. We had a few zits. I wasn't a real zit guy, but every now and then you get a pimple. When you're trying to shave over a pimple, it's just not the way you want to rock and roll, right? So we would try to skip a day or two in between, and the nuns weren't having it. And, you know, you're already feeling, you know, self-conscious about yourself when you're a kid. And the nuns are going, oh, you look like a bum. You look like this. They would send us home. You got to go home. And my parents my parents were school teachers at another school. I had to walk home sometimes to go shave and come back. And if you missed a test or a quiz, zero. Now, those bitches could have let me stay in school and said, look, you know, just don't let it happen again, or, you know, detention or something, right? Was it really that bad that they had to do that? Right?
No, but they also know you, right? And it's Vinny, are you familiar with the broken window theory of policing?
Oh, yeah.
Right? You can't let a broken window go unrepaired, because then you get graffiti, right? It's if you give a mouse a cookie of the police community, right? It always leads to something else. So if we let Vinny grow his facial hair, next week he's going to be coming in with a mullet.
I'm going to tell you a story I have never told, ever, not on this podcast or anywhere else. They had, because we had to dress, when I was in junior high, the girls had to wear the whole Catholic girl uniform, right? the little plaided skirt and the, collared, shirt with the, the whole thing pressed and all that. They wanted the boys to be somewhat individualized, right? So we had to wear khaki pants, but we had to wear a button-down shirt, which means anything goes with khaki, right? You can wear stripes, you can wear anything. So, most of us had those, those kind of preppy shirts that, in yellow and then blue and then white, right?
Like a polo?
No. The button down with the sleeves and the whole thing. Anyway, they said that we can dress like, it was like homecoming or something. I was like in 7th grade-ish. And you got to remember, 7th grade, I had been working out for a few years now. I was already the height I am right now. I didn't look like the other kids. Facial hair, you name it, the whole thing. Well, they said you could come to school dressed with anything you want within reason, right? And it's like, we get to wear T-shirts to school tomorrow and blue jeans. And the girls were able to wear their blue jeans and the whole thing. It was like very exciting to do this. So I put on my white Hanes T-shirt, tucked it in, had myself looking sharp. I'm happy to go to school, not dressed in school clothes like all the other kids. I get there and the nuns are all over me. It's like, oh, no, you can't dress this way. And I'm like, I didn't know what was going on. You got to go to the office. And like, this is morning before we even go to class. Like, there was some hubbub about the way I was dressed. White Hanes T-shirt, Levi's or Wranglers. That's the only 2 jeans I've ever worn. And I'm like, what's wrong with what I have on? No. You don't have a T-shirt on. You have an undershirt on. Like, they were trying to make up excuses as to why, it's like other kids had on white T-shirts, right? But they looked like kids. I'm wearing this white T-shirt and it's on me, right? It's skin tight. I got pecs. I got abs. I'm not looking like a 7th grader. And this shirt is on me. I'm looking like something from the Jets. Once you're a Jet all the way. All right. I
didn't realize we were going West Side Story when you said story time, but
you know what I'm saying? I'm looking like the Lords of Flatbush, right?
Yeah.
And the T-shirt is tight on me and the whole thing. And I looked too sexualized for them and did not realize that at the time. So when my mom came to pick me up and, they called my mom in and said, you got to come get this kid and bring him. He's got to change. And I'm like, Ma, Italian kids are, Ma, Dwayne had a white Hanes T-shirt. Benji, look at Benji over there. They all have white Hanes T-shirts on. My mom's like, you just gotta go home, change that T-shirt. Right. And I'm like, I didn't get it. Right. I didn't get what was going on. So when people wonder why I don't follow religion anymore, that's why, that's one of the big reasons, besides the fact that they beat me into oblivion, both mentally and physically. And I wish I can belong to a religion, but that's one of those stories where I looked too sexualized for wearing the same clothes to school. Right.
Yeah, God forbid you work out a little bit, right? Now, that makes me wonder what they would do now, given the change in the way that 7th and 8th graders look.
Right.
Can you have your pot belly hanging out the bottom of the white T-shirt, and is that okay?
Well, I wasn't going to go there. I was going to go in a different direction. Like when, I'm not going to mention her last name, she's still a friend of mine. When Susie, real name, but I'm not going to give her last name. I think everyone who went to Central Catholic who listens to this knows where I'm heading. When Susie became well endowed in the 8th grade, I think she had the same kind of problem, if you will, right? Like they were monitoring what Susie wore to the school dances and everything else. I look, when you're 12 or 13 years old, you're just not aware of what you look like. Does that make sense?
I think most people aren't, right? And I think that's actually part of the reason. Like, how much time, Vinny, this sounds like a really vain question, but how much time do you actually spend looking at yourself? You probably spend more time than the average bear just because you do videos and podcasts and interviews.
I cannot stand to look at myself. I cannot stand.
I think most people are like that, right? Most people don't understand what they actually look like. And that's why for a lot of people, like one of the first realizations that I had that I was fat as hell is I walked in like past a mirror at Kohl's or something. And I went, really? That's what I look like from the side? Like, because you look here up, right? You have a pretty good idea of what your hair looks like that day. Did you brush your teeth? Are your eyebrows jacked up? But from here down, you don't spend a lot of time looking at that.
You don't. And as a matter of fact, to a point, when I do the documentaries, I don't know how to edit things. As you know, I can barely turn on the computer. I sit behind the editor, but I don't look at the screen all the time. Like once the scene is done, then I'll watch it. But when you're looking at yourself constantly and you don't like the way you look, it's weird. So I'll sit there and listen. I think that's why the documentaries turn out so well, because I'll sit there and go back, right there. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just sitting there. As a matter of fact, half the time while they're editing, I lay on the floor and just stare at the ceiling, and I go, right there, cut it in there, cut it out there, And then once the scene is done, I'll go and look at it and go, okay, that's the direction. Right. So I just listen to all of it. I don't look at it. But yeah, we're going to be talking about bodies today because the first guest that's coming on, Kurt, we're going to bring him up here in a second. His body is looking. Look, it's one thing when people do low carb, then they start losing weight. But when they do low carb and they start gaining weight, and that weight is lean muscle mass, now we're doing something, right?
We have Mr. Kurt coming up, and I think if his shirt will allow him, I don't think the nuns would like the way that his shirt fits him after working out. But our buddy David is in the background. He did just get called into another job, but he wanted to come in and give us an update. So if you don't mind, Vin, I'll bring him in, and then we'll go to Mr. Kurt.
Let's bring him in.
David, give me that thumbs up if you're ready to rock and roll, and we'll bring you right in.
Hey, Vinny.
He is with the beard.
Yep.
Love that thing, man.
11 inch.
Oh, so you know how long it is now?
I measured it.
Yeah. Some guys measure other things, David, but okay. I guess beard is okay.
Your looks good.
So give us an update, brother.
Quick update. So you remember where I was at, 390 a year and a half ago. I'm down to 370.
Okay.
Lost 10 pounds in the past 2 weeks. So we're doing good on that.
Good.
The one thing I've noticed, and I see this a lot on the VIP and stuff, comments that you hear during this whole time through your journey. I mean, it hurts, but at the end, a lot of those people are starting to come back and see our side of it. So it's one of those deals that it hurts at the beginning, but if you keep moving forward in this journey and doing it, keeping it going, people start seeing the results and they'll start coming onto our side.
I was talking to a woman today. I've had 2 or 3 consults with her. And I won't say her name, but she'll know who she is. She and her husband just moved from Italy not long ago. And she's living in Ohio. So that's all I'll say about who she is. She'll know exactly who I'm talking about when she hears this podcast. And the biggest problem she's had is getting started, right? Just getting started on this journey, because she'll make it a day or two and she goes, oh, you don't understand. I start to feel bad. And I keep explaining to her you're going to feel bad before you feel good, right? You're going to go through that period to get to to get to where you need to be. And as soon as she starts not feeling, she goes, oh, as soon as I'm not feeling good, I eat bread or I eat pasta, right? And that's a problem. But it's good to see that you're moving in a direction. You've gotten past that part. And I guess what you're saying here, David, is that people around you are starting to see it and are starting to move in that direction. Or am I getting that wrong?
No, you're doing that's exactly correct. My wife's on it now. 2 of her sisters are on it. Her mom's lost 15 pounds and her blood pressure's starting to go down again. So they're starting to see it too. But at the beginning, yeah, it's very hard at the beginning. I mean, the cravings, everything else, you just got to fight through it. So and I fought through it.
That's what I love to hear, man. That's what I love to hear. Are you on the oil rig now? Where are you?
I got to go move a H pump trailer from a location to another location. So,
well, we'll let you get to it. Thanks for checking in with us, David. And just keep
I
moving.
appreciate you having me back on.
Oh, anytime, brother. And listen, keep growing that beard longer and keep growing that gut shorter. We're going to get you down, brother.
Yep.
We're going to get where you need to be.
Hey, when I ordered another hat, as soon as I get it, I'll get on one of the calls with you. But I ordered one of the ZZ top hats.
Oh, good. Oh, by the way, speaking of hats, we have a VIP hat coming up. Chris, jump in here real quick.
Chris has been teasing us.
Chris, where are we with the hat? Have we shown it in the group yet?
I don't think we have because we were waiting on the new mock-ups. I can drop that in the group right now, actually.
Drop it in there and let people see what it looks like. But we're going to have, by the way, folks, this is a mock-up, which means it's not exactly the hat, but it's kind of the hat. You'll see what it looks like. We did a little stealing from the STP. You remember the STP hats?
Yep.
The oval with STP.
Yep.
Yeah, we borrowed from that. I told my girl who did that, Leona, I said, borrow heavily, and we did. And it's going to be a trucker hat, which you will love, right? And it's going to look antiquated. It's going to look well-worn. We did not just choose any trucker hat. We have one that's so soft, the netting in the back is so soft and supple, it doesn't feel like anything plasticky on that hat. I think you'll love what we have. Chris,
Nice.
Chris, before the end of the show, can we show it up here on the screen somehow? Can you figure that part out? Okay. We'll get it up. So you guys will see it, and then Chris will put it in the group. Chris, we should be more organized in this, but I know you're busy with Pure Vitamin Club, but come on.
Just
Great
trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Just get that eggshell back together. Ship everyone their vitamins, and let's sell a hat. There it is. Can you see it? Oh man, David left already.
Yeah, there it is. No, I'm here.
It just moved him over to the left.
Oh, he's over. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I like it. It looks old school.
Oh, it's very old school.
I like that.
Yeah. I cannot wait for it to come out. And of course, the emblem, they just kind of placed it on there. That's going to look antiquated too, right? The whole thing is going to look the same. So I think you'll like what we have coming up. So
I like it. I like it.
Chris, I like how you put a little snow behind it and the whole thing. Made it look Christmassy.
Yeah. It was either that or make it look like a cartoon. So I figured that was a better way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David?
I was up in Kurt's territory this past weekend. I was up in Minot, North Dakota. There was snow on the ground, but it was cold. Now I remember why I don't go up there no more.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't know why anyone would go up there, So, yeah.
Yep.
Terrible place.
I appreciate it, Vinny.
All right, brother. You have a good day.
You too, man. Bye-bye.
Bye. I love those check-ins, Chris. It's always good.
Vinny, did I mishear that? Did he say 10 pounds in 2 weeks?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. That's not normal, but he's got a lot of weight to lose. So when you have a lot of weight to lose, sometimes you can lose that much in the first couple of weeks with, the whoosh. So I'm happy. I'm happy for him. That's good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's
Speaking of North Dakota,
yeah.
if we have somebody in the background here, and if he gives me that thumbs up, we can bring him in and get him ready to rock and roll. I know, Vinny, like we mentioned a minute ago, the nuns would not approve of this T-shirt.
Oh God, no. No. Kurt, they would have sent you home with that T-shirt on.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. You?
I'm not complaining. What's the temperature like where you are?
Oh, it got pretty cold today. We had our first winter storm in a sense. So I don't know what it got down to. It was very cold outside though, wind chill and everything.
I went to the gym today and it was pull day for me. I did back. And when I got home, I saw that the guy had dumped, I have a dump truck coming. They dumped the whole thing of logs in my yard and then I stack them myself. I don't want to pay to stack the wood. And I stacked the wood in 3 different places. Now, it's supposed to be a cord of wood, but it's almost 2 cords. This guy is very generous because I'm able to stack a ton of it back here behind my office because I have a place to stack here. I stacked some for Serena underneath over on the other side for those 2 fireplaces. And I still had, that rack that you put your wood in, that was still, I went over the top with that. So that's over 2 hours of stacking wood, moving it with a wheelbarrow. And of course, I had the splitting axe out there because I split a bunch of it too for back here. And I don't know if you spend a lot of time working with an axe, but by the time I was done with the workout and then all the wood and the splitting, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do podcasts tonight. That will get you, man. I was out there for almost 3 hours between splitting and stacking wood, right? I don't think people realize what type of workout that is in and of itself. Do you do that or do you get a guy to come over?
We have a gas fireplace.
Oh, wow. I'm still living like the Waltons around here. I got 3 wood-burning fireplaces. Yeah.
We haven't even fired up the gas fireplace yet, but we're due now. So.
Oh, I've been running mine. Once it turns 59, I got the one in my office is on. We literally heat this house. Of course, we have all the nice central air and everything, but the bottom line is it's cheaper to burn wood. Right. And we got these 3 beautiful fireplaces. Why not let those heat the house and keep those running? Right. And that's the way I do it around here. And but gas, huh? You only have one?
Yeah, just the one. Yep. In the great room here.
How do you guys survive on that?
Well, we have heat as well in the house, so the fireplace is just for looks.
Yeah. So it doesn't really heat anything.
Oh, it gets warm, yeah. But then it affects the thermostat for the rest of the house if it gets warm, and then it doesn't heat upstairs and whatnot. So there's other.
Well, the key is to not have the thermostat near the fireplace.
Well, it's not exactly next to it, but it's close enough.
Yeah. You don't have split units, Kurt? You don't have?
Yeah, actually we do. We have a separate furnace for the top floor and then one for the main floor here. Yeah,
that's the only way to keep costs down. People think, oh, that's extravagant. No. That's how you keep costs down, by having 2 different central air and heating units. So you don't have to heat and cool the whole house.
Yeah, I don't know how the furnace works, but yeah, there's a separate thermostat upstairs for that. And there's no one living up there now, so we don't hardly ever go up there.
So Kurt, you started this journey to lose weight, and now you're putting on muscle, and you're looking. I mean, look, if I was gay and you were gay,
we'd go ice fishing.
Yeah, we could go ice fishing. Just remember, it looks a lot smaller when it's cold out, Kurt. Tell us about it. You and I did a consult, what, a year ago? And I put
I think
tell
12/19 of 2023 would have been the first day I started lifting. So yeah, we're coming on a year.
Yeah, we're a year right now. I mean, we're recording this on 12/4.
Right.
So I gave you push-pull legs.
Yeah.
Split routine. Basically, Kurt, I gave you a routine very similar to what the great bodybuilder Frank Zane used to use.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I've always been, I know that there's all kinds of different programs, and it's not a one size fits all. I've had people do quite well doing 2 workouts per week, just doing 1 set to failure. But you and I think you and I talked about that, right? About what type of time you had on your hands and that kind of thing.
Well, I don't know if we actually talked about it, but you did mention that, if you wanted to maintain what you have, to hit everything once a week, but if you wanted to grow, to try to hit everything twice a week. And I jumped right in. I just went full on in that way. But I just couldn't see doing this and not seeing results, and actually been enjoying the whole process so far.
So give us some results. I guess, I don't know if you started measuring arms and chest, but you've seen strength increase, correct?
Yep. Yeah, it's actually just the last couple of weeks been increasing, my push and then my legs. So yeah, definitely. I was going to look at my first logbook, but yeah, I was kind of glancing through. I think I be finishing my second logbook here with one more sheet. So in the year's time, I have a lot of history written down as far as the weight goes. So, but yeah, definitely, getting up there. I do dumbbells mostly for everything. I just don't want to worry about a spotter, and that's all I've ever done. So that's what I'm comfortable with.
Good. And you've seen the weights increase. Obviously, you've gotten stronger. How old are you, Kurt?
61.
Okay. Do you believe, now that you've done this for a year, that sarcopenia is just going to, obviously sarcopenia is there, right? It can happen. Have you seen it retard itself, reverse itself? Have you increased? What do you feel like you've done?
Well, I would say it definitely reversed itself. I know I have no idea how much weight I have put on, but we had a kind of a all city event here in September, and a lot of people come around. I only see once a year. Actually, some buddies I used to lift with, back from when we're, 20, 21, 22. And, I had several people kind of ask me if I was on anything, and, they just couldn't believe how well I look. So apparently, it's noticeable, but I must have had a dozen people actually mention it to me.
Look, it's the biggest compliment in the world. I get asked sometimes, and I'm not that big, and but I am, for my age, I guess I'm fairly ripped out. And when we're around the pool in the summertime, the neighbors come over and this kind of thing, and the guys will always ask me a question. It's like, "You're on HRT, right?" I was like, "No," and they'll say, "Well, what are you on?" Like, "I'm on Life, baby. I'm on Life. I'm on iron. I go to the gym and pump iron." And they, "Oh, come on, Vin, you could tell us." It's like, no, I take it as the world's biggest compliment, and you should too. When people think that you're taking exogenous hormones to look the way you're looking, right?
Right.
So, at some point, probably when you hit 70, you're probably 9-10 years away, 74, 75. There's like this cliff you fall off of. I've talked to Dr. Drew about this. He goes, "Yeah, I've talked to a few doctors about this, and they'll use different ages. Some will say 70. Most will say, between 75 and 77 is kind of this cliff that you fall off of, and you start to see some degradation, right? But there's no reason why you can't just keep pushing through right now and stay strong and stay healthy. Does it mean that you go to pot at that? No. Look at the late, great Jack LaLanne. the guy was still doing it into his 90s, right? And as he always said, death is going to be really bad for business for him. But the guy was still in his 90s doing it. He looked somewhat diminished, but he didn't look that bad, right? He looked pretty good.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, we grew up watching the same thing, so I remember him as well. He is one fit old man.
Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to anyone, Kurt, about any of this?
I made a deal with myself saying I would just do it for 6 months and just to be, get it in the habit. And I am very, very strict about it and just did it. Now it's just, I can't, I just really can't not do it. And, it's very little time. It probably takes 45 minutes. I live 5 miles from the gym, so we're talking an hour and 10-minute commitment, the 6 nights a week I go. So, it's just stick to it and get over the insecurity. I was insecure about a lot of lifting and whatnot. I really haven't lifted much since I was in my mid-20s. So, going back and then, get in there and just, wondering if I'm doing the proper form and everything like that. So, I really just stuck to it, and I look forward to it every night. Actually, tonight's my rest night, so it worked out good.
I love hearing that. And I think you told me at one point your wife jumped into it, right?
She's been actually lifting for a while. The problem is with her, and you know how your wives don't want to hear from you. Your latest documentary. She didn't watch it, so she's on. She has a coach that she uses, and they really push the kind of the carb or the almond crackers that aren't clean and things like that. She's eating that, or she's drinking that, that green vegetable juice or whatever. Not eating clean. It's the farthest from NSNG as she's been in quite a while.
Yeah.
But she's 15 years younger, and I was 51 before I really made a lifestyle change. So I'm just going to let her figure it out on her own. The sad part is she's working her tail off, and I just really think she could be a lot further along, than she is.
Well, look, she'll figure it out when she figures it out. My wife has spent a lifetime staying lean. Now, she naturally is. You've met Serena several times, right? She's just genetically built like that. But when women get older, especially after the change, it gets tougher and tougher. And at some point, I want to say maybe around the time, she was with me for 7 or so years before I started the podcast, probably. At some point, right around that time, she started meandering into eating, because she was making the food for me. And, she started meandering into eating more like I did. And I'll never forget the night she made the comment. And she goes, wow, I didn't know it was so easy to stay lean, right? Because her entire life, she started off in Europe as a model. And their idea of being lean was, go to a restaurant in France, order a salad and smoke a cigarette and look at the salad, right? That's what they did back in the 70s. And, her idea of always being lean meant that you had to starve and white knuckle it. And then all of a sudden she started doing what I'm doing. Butter was on everything. She was eating more and more meat. She was almost a vegetarian. She was pretty close when I met her. She would eat a little bit of chicken, a little bit of fish, but that's about it. Almost a complete. Now she eats meat, tons of pork, tons of everything, fish, chicken. And she's never hungry. She's never hangry. And at 63, her body looks, take it from me, her body looks amazing. It's amazing. Nina Taisho's the same way. Nina was here in the bathing suit last summer. And I'm like, we were talking about it. She was like, yeah, the whole time I was a vegetarian and a vegan and the whole thing, constantly fighting my hips. constantly bloated, constantly had weight on me. And I see Nina's in her 50s, right? Mid to late 50s. You would swear that she had the body of a 35-year-old. It's just nuts.
Yeah, she's definitely, she lost some weight doing this, and she's been working her tail off as far as that goes. But I think it's kind of like what we've always talked about, is like it works until it doesn't. And then if you want to, then you got to kind of adjust things, even where I'm at, if I want to lose weight, I'm going to have to, track and kind of figure things out. I just don't like to do that. And I'm fine for a few more months. My waist isn't, I have a pair of shorts that I have that the tags on it. That's a kind of a goal pair, and they're starting to fit better, not where I want them, but they're, I'm going in the right direction, even though my weight hasn't really done that much in the year's time. So,
but you know what you have to do to get there, Kurt.
Right.
You know what it takes. And don't proselytize with your wife. At some point, she'll figure it out.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's kind of what I'm just going to keep going at where I'm at. And hopefully she'll kind of go in that direction eventually, but that's kind of her thing, and she'll figure it out like everyone else has to figure it out on their own. But yeah, she's working her tail off, and she works late all the time. So, I mean, she'll eat whatever protein I have at home when she comes home. Just to get a meal in. And that's about all I cook. So.
Well, good. Keep up the great work. Keep pumping iron. And one day we'll show off our biceps together. I'll get up there at some point because I love that area. So I'll be up in North Dakota. We got to figure out a meetup or something, Kurt. But that's a story for another day. But we need to talk maybe in the spring. I don't know.
Well, can I ask you a question? What you said this year you want to put on some muscle? Or I know you started already. Just adding protein, or what's your?
No, I haven't changed my diet at all. Okay. Maybe a little extra protein, like maybe an extra egg in the morning. Okay. I'll throw in the pan. It's small changes, right? So an extra egg in the morning, especially on days when I'm doing legs. More eggs for the legs, type of thing. At night, like. Serena's up there making chicken right now, right? Instead of, 2 pieces, I might have a third because, I worked out really hard in the gym today. I did pull day, and then I did all that work in the yard, almost, just that 3 hours of chopping wood and moving wood. So there's going to be, I eat according to what the workload was, right? So I'm that kind of dialed in. But yeah, just a little extra protein. I've been paying attention in the weight in the gym. I've already started. On my third set, I've been doing somewhere between 3 and 5 reps. Like, I try to get to 3, but if I start getting to 5, the next time I go in, mental note, start adding weight to that exercise. Right.
Right.
I don't know if you remember, well, I'm sure you do. Right after chemo, I couldn't do 5 push-ups. And now I'm bench pressing. I'm doing sets with as much as 175, 180, something like that.
Okay.
That's a far cry away from not being able to do 5 push-ups just a few short months ago.
Right.
So my strength is coming back to normal. And then after that, I want to get to that next level, right? I want to keep getting stronger. My thing this year is to put on a little muscle and, start changing things around here.
Do I have to send a size bigger shirt next time, or will you let me know?
No, let's stick with that shirt until it looks like I could get kicked out of Catholic school again.
Right.
But yeah, that shirt, I wore it to the gym. The first time I wore it, before I even washed it, it was leg day when it showed up. I went, this is it. I threw that purple shirt on, boom, went right to the gym, christened it on leg day.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So thank you for that, man. Yeah, keep me in wardrobe. I'm happy. Kurt, you have a good rest of your day. We got Alex to talk to, and I don't want to keep him holding.
Okay, thank you. See ya.
All right. Later, man. There you have him, Chris, the great Mr. Kurt
And
Beard.
I love hearing from Kurt, but he always makes me feel like I need to go to the gym. You
Yeah.
know?
He sounds like a guy that hangs out at the gym, right? He's got the deep voice, the whole thing. Yeah. I love that
Extra little bit of muscle on him looks great.
Yeah, I love that. Like his friends think he's on juice just by working out, just by, people are, what are you on? It's like, I'm ingesting some iron over here. That's the way I look at it.
I think it's referred to as picking things up and putting them down.
Yeah, exactly. Let's bring Alex in because he's probably getting antsy.
Alex, let me know that you're good to come in.
Yeah, there he is.
Alex,
hey man,
how you doing, man?
Sorry, it's like dark. I don't have like a nice lighting place, but
that's all right. You look good enough to me.
thanks.
Doesn't take much for me though. As you could tell, I would date Kurt Lapierre if I were gay. So
I know I'm waiting for my ice fishing invitation like everybody else. So.
You know what? Whenever we do the meetup, maybe we should do it in the winter and we do it in one of those ice fishing cabins. Can't imagine more than
that, but
you mean the glamping version or the real version?
No. Well, I don't know how many people would actually show up, so we could probably do it in the real version. Yeah.
Just
Probably.
be you, me, Kurt, and Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, drinking beer. What do they do? They drink whiskey. What do they drink in those things? I guess whatever you want, right?
Anything that keeps you warm would be my guess.
Alex, have you ever gone ice fishing at all?
No. I might have camped when I was a Boy Scout. That was about it. People now ask me if they want to like go sleep in the woods. That's the last thing I want to do.
So if we invited you on, to go climb a mountain or something, we would have to mark you down for a hotel room and you would just meet us out there somewhere?
I would go, but I might complain.
Oh, well, you're not coming there. Screw you, pal. We don't need whiners out there. We want dudes. No complaints. If you want to complain, go talk to the trees. We're good over here. Go find a bear and complain to that thing.
No, I would do it. There's just not a lot. I live in Chicago, like in the city, so like there's not a lot of great places to like go hiking besides like the local trails and stuff. So I think it would be appealing.
Yeah, look, if we got you out where there's some inspired, like if we got you out to like Utah or the Sierras, the Eastern Sierras or Colorado, we could get you inspired. When you start seeing what's out there and you realize that Illinois is just a wasteland, then we can figure it out, right?
Yeah, and I'm such an Ohio like Midwest boy. Like I need to get out of here.
Yeah, you reminded me of a song.
Uh-oh.
Do you know a song we're talking about here?
No, I never do. You always play the Shania Twain song. That's what I always think you're gonna play every time. So
this song is called Baba O'Reilly, and they mention wasteland in the song.
I know that one.
You know this one? Hey, Chris, if we could get this as our bumper music, that would be great.
Rock and roll.
Baba O'Reilly by, The Who. Isn't that great? Come on. That goes on forever in the song before they get to anything. This is where you live, in a teenage wasteland. Young Boy Scout, Alex, just hanging out. What level did you make it to, Alex, in Boy Scouts?
Not far. Not far enough to know.
They kicked me out early. Like literally, the den mother knew my mom, and she said, "Don't let him come back. Just, he's not." And my mom was like, "Mom, I used to disappoint my mom. She knew I was a problem, but she didn't know why. And whenever I would innocently say, 'Well, what's the problem?' She was like, 'Well, honey, the world just doesn't really understand you.' I was like, 'All right. Guess I'm different.'"
Speaking of Boy Scouts, like my friend's daughter is really into it, and apparently, like it's a huge thing for like girls to have like Boy Scout, and they've kind of gone into that, and it's been really cool. That's like her favorite thing. That's where all her friends are. It's great.
Oh, yeah, the Boy Scouts started allowing girls, what, a couple of years ago?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I wonder if the Cub Scouts also allow girls, or if it's still segregated in the Cub Scouts.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a good question. I always thought that was the same thing, but
Well, one of them, I think, goes into the other. I think they're all part of the same organization. When you're younger, you're a Cub Scout, and then you can graduate to Boy Scout. And then I know if you make it to like Eagle Scout, that's like you're pretty much almost the president of the United States or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I should probably ask because I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
And that was a really good segue with Kurt, actually. So I feel like everybody kind of follows your New Year's resolutions. I know I did. I'm doing the 365 aerobics, and actually I'm pretty close to being done.
Oh, where are you? Because I can look at my number right now. Let's see. Do you know what your number is?
I have it in minutes is the problem, because
we can convert that really fast.
I do bump it up. I am at 20,570 minutes.
All right, let me see.
342 and change.
Oh, dude, I'm a little bit ahead of you.
Oh, you better be. I also just spent 2 weeks like with food poisoning, like not being able to like get out of bed and traveling, and so.
Yeah, but you're going to easily make it if you don't get food poisoning. Let's see where I am.
Yeah. I'm right on track.
Dude, I'm almost there. I'm at 361.25.
Oh, you're right there.
Yeah, I'm right there. Cancer slowed me down a lot.
Yeah, that's probably a better excuse than food poisoning, but.
No, but food poisoning is
not really.
Yeah, food poisoning is probably worse than cancer. But yeah, usually by this time of the year, I'm usually in the 4s, because I always somehow end up at 420, 430, but I'm going to barely get to probably, let's see, 361. If I do an hour a day, probably be close to 380, 390 this year. I'm not going to go much higher than that.
That's amazing.
But, so go on. So the question is, since you follow what I do and I'm doing something different next year.
Well, I've also met my goals. So I want to get stronger too. So I wanted to talk to you today about bulking. I know that's there's so much bro science on bulking. It's ridiculous. And so I had a few things written down that I wanted you to sort through what's garbage and what's reality.
I love this question. You're going to help you and everyone who wants to put on lean muscle mass with this conversation. So let's go through them.
I'm ready. So, so one thing we mentioned was diet, right? So he already talked about, should you be eating more protein? Do you need to up your protein? You mentioned that you didn't really need to change. And whenever I see people bulking, they always kind of get a little chubby. And I don't think that needs to happen. So let's start there.
Okay. So I've put on a lot of muscle mass in my life. And I can tell you that, back when I was playing football and I weighed 225, in the summer, I would eat a lot more rice and pasta to have that energy to go in the gym, because I was also doing wind sprints and everything else. So I felt like I need another pick-me-up during the day, right? And I was young and dumb and full of cum, so it didn't really matter. But by the time the season came, I would go into the season in high school, I go into the season at 212, 215 and drop down to about 200. That was that extra bulk, that extra fat coming off. And then I would look ripped for the rest of the season. When I got to college, when I would go into the season at 235, I played at around 220, right? Again, that extra fat would come off during the season. When I got into modeling and all that, and I had to stay lean all the time. And by the way, I wasn't a runway model, you understand? I was a fitness model. They weren't hiring me. They weren't hiring my face. They were hiring my abs. As my agent, Irina Kamal, said, once. She goes, I have the best, she said about herself, she goes, I own the best abs in LA and they ain't free. Right. She had me and she had 2 other guys and we all looked similar and she did not let us go for cheap. So we had to look like that all the time. So there was never any bulking phase. And that's when I learned that, oh, wait, this whole idea of taking in extra carbohydrates in order to keep muscle on wasn't real. And every bodybuilder, like back in the golden age of bodybuilding, Lou Ferrigno, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Zane, although Frank Zane stayed leaner than the rest of them, right? Mike Mentzer, all of them, Padilla, all of them would get, they would look kind of bloated. I remember when I got down to Gold's Gym in 90, I would see all the bodybuilders in there, and like a month out of 6 weeks out of competition, they all look bloated like football players. Not fat, but no striations, no nothing, just kind of bloated. Their guts were bloated. And then you knew in competition time was coming because the gym smelled differently. When people go into dietary ketosis, real quickly, they start to smell breath. It comes from their skin, everything else. And then they would smell like that crap that they would paint on. They would start painting layers of this stuff on them, and that stuff smelled like crap too. You knew when Mr. Olympia and Mr. Universe was coming up, the gym, Gold smelled differently. That's the only way I could put it. And they would eat more eggs, and they would eat more chicken, and they would eat more red meat, and they would cut out all of the carbohydrates. My thing was always, keep the carbohydrates out. You don't need them to put on muscle. I'm proving that right now. I'm 62. I'm not on any extra juice. My testosterone rarely, it saw 400 because I went for an early test once. It's usually between 250 and 300. One time I went in, it was 400. And I said to my doctor, said, what do you think happened? She goes, oh, you came in at 8 in the morning. A lot of times your testosterone is much higher in the morning, right? And I'm able to put on muscle, right? Just by lifting heavy things. Now, can I put on muscle at the same rate I did when I was younger? Not really. I need more rest time in between. I'm 62. You're a lot younger, right? You could get away with more. But the one thing that will help you put the weight on is stimulate the crap out of a muscle and then give it a couple of 2 or 3 day rest and then stimulate it again. Twice a week is all you need. So if you do push-pull legs, you could do Monday push, Tuesday pull, Wednesday legs, Thursday push, Friday pull, Saturday legs. Or after the Wednesday workout, you could take a day off right there and then start over again. Or if you want to do it in 4 days a week, you could do push and pull on Monday, legs on Tuesday, take Wednesday off, push and pull together on Thursday, legs on Friday, take the weekend off and start again on Monday. You will get very similar results doing 4 days. If you want to do 2 days, you could do one set to failure on your whole body on Monday, do it again around Thursday, and then come back on Monday. You will get very similar results. Mike Mentzer was able to do that. Arthur Jones was able to do that. I have Ben Bokikio on the show all the time. He's able to do it. My buddy, Don Coddington.
It's the billionaire Don Coddington's Friday.
He's able to pull it off, right? And he's 62. It depends on how you want to do it. I don't mean to go into a diatribe. I know you have other questions.
Good.
But that's how you bulk up. That's how you put on. You do not have to take in carbohydrates to bulk up. That I will take that to my grave. No one can show me any science to say otherwise, period.
No, it's true. And I mean, you see it, but I think people just use it as an excuse to eat whatever they want. And they'll be like, oh, I can eat ice cream because I'm bulking, right? That's something you hear all the time. Or I could eat this because I'm bulking.
Yeah, because they want to eat that. Hey, Chris, go on the internet and find a picture of me with the conch shell. Yeah, no, you don't need ice cream at all.
Yeah, and speaking of like eating, like maybe just a little more protein. I like what you said about on leg day to throw an extra egg, throw an extra piece of chicken. I like that a lot, actually. That's something to think about. But what about like creatine and pre-workout? Do you need them? Where do they help?
You don't need it, but creatine has been shown in study after study. I started using creatine off and on back around 1985-ish, somewhere around there. You won't see any kind of crazy steroid type results, but getting a little extra creatine, and it's not a whole lot, right? It's just like 500 milligrams or something like that per day. It seems to help, right? If you start taking too much, your body will stop making it. If you take too much, you could start bloating. Okay. That's a guy, I stayed like that through the 90s. I'm 30 years old in that photo, right? And I kept my body like that all the time when I was modeling, right?
Yep.
And I don't look much different today. Well, I'm a little diminished right now because of cancer. Chris, can you find that photo? It says, this is 60. When I was 60 and I lifted my shirt up for a second, took a photo. It's not much different between then and now, right? Except I'm not fucking a conch shell. But, you know, I had a fair amount of muscle. You can't look at the abs, look at the lats, look at the chest. That's a fair amount of muscle. And I never came off of that. Bodybuilders would tell you, no, you got to work down to that. You can look good for one day. I stayed like that through the 90s and worked the entire time. The only thing I had to do before a shoot was pull out a razor and shave all the Italian wop hair off of my chest and stomach. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, completely unrelated that you made me think of this, is like, because of NSNG, like this Saturday, they're doing a Santa Speedo run that I got signed up for with friends. And like, because NSNG, I feel comfortable enough to put on a freaking red Speedo and a Santa hat and go run a mile with a million other people for charity. So like,
wait, hang on. Are you in Chicago?
Yeah.
And you're going to put a Speedo on this weekend?
Yeah, that's the whole thing, because it's freezing. It's stupid.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. It'll be pictures. I don't think you all will see those pictures, but who knows?
But it's for charity, right?
Yeah.
Wait, Alex, when is this?
Saturday.
Oh,
we
yeah.
need
So,
photos, Alex. We need photos.
We will definitely be doing some digging.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, so Chris has the photo up now of, that was taken when I'm 60.
It's unbelievable.
Right? So it doesn't, and by the way, I didn't have to diet down. My wife said to me one day, she goes, you know what? You never show any proof that you're in good shape. And so I lifted my shirt up and there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
I could do better, but I figured that was good enough.
Your every day though. That's what people don't understand, is like you could just look good all the time instead of working towards that one day a year that you're happy with.
I had a woman who was a she does fit modeling, like she fit competitions where they wear bikinis on stage and high heels, and they look like women bodybuilders used to look like 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, but they're not all steroided up. And I coached her. She said, she wrote to me and said, I hate that I only look good when I'm on stage. I don't look good before that. I don't look good the next day. I hate that I don't look good all the time. And I want you to show me how to get there. And she got there. She kept, and she was like, I had no idea it was this easy. All I had to do was cut out the carbs. She was in that bro science world of you got to bulk up and then chisel it down and you look good for one day. She looks good all the time now. See if I can't get her back on the show. See if I can't find her.
Yeah, and you hit on the two other things really quickly. Like on that same subject, like people say, You can either lose weight or you can put on muscle. And some people will say you have to lose the fat first before you put on the muscle. I don't think that's true. Is that true?
It's not true at all. Now, here's the deal. When you're losing, if you have a significant amount of fat to lose, you're a 350-pound guy, you're going to lose 20% muscle with the fat if you don't work out. You can slow that effect. You can completely retard that by exercising at the same time, lifting heavy weights. You can stop that from happening. But if you did nothing else, just dieted, you're going to lose 20 or 25% muscle with the fat. You can stop that in its tracks. But that's not answering your question. Your question is more, can you do both at the same time? I'm an example of it, and I think Kurt Lapierre is a poor example of it, but somewhat of an example, right? Because he just said, I don't pay enough attention to my diet. He knows what he's doing, right? He knows if he wanted to tighten up more, what he has to do, right? He's choosing not to do it right now.
Well, and myth or truth, does putting on muscle raise your metabolism and make you burn fat quicker?
That's the truth, but it's so academic that, it's
marginal.
It's marginal.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
That's what people will say too. I'm bulking so that I can lose the fat easier. When
you have a bigger engine, you burn more gas, right? When you have more muscle to support, you're going to burn more calories. Just, basal metabolic rate goes up. But to a significant degree to where, you would have to have bodybuilding style muscle on to ever see any kind of. And by the way, you can't look at bodybuilders because they're using drugs. So there's a problem right there, right? They're already altering themselves with drugs. So anything they say or do, they don't really understand how the body works, unfortunately. Right?
And in Chicago, you see the average person, it's so easy for them to get drugs now that they just do that. So
sad. It's really sad that, people are using drugs. We don't even know how. Every doctor I talk to, some of them don't want to say it on the air. It's like people don't realize this Wegovy, metformin, using GLP-1s. We have no idea what we're doing. It was never supposed to be used the way it's being used. Right.
That's what people say. We have no idea what's going to come. We'll find out in 10 years. Kind of scary.
I don't think it's going to take 10 years. They say fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out.
All right, I have one more.
Sure.
So if I'm going to lift, I do a lot of exercise. I play volleyball, which is not lifting, right? I do solid core twice a week, which is, if people don't know, is Pilates kind of, but it's like lifting. I do like a boot camp gym class 3 times a week. And then I swim on a master's swim team once or twice a week. Do I have to cut any of that out and replace it?
Yeah. I know I've been to solid core classes. They're kind of an ass kicking workout. They're great ab workouts and they work good on your butt, but you can't do all of that. You could probably keep the swimming in there. You might do 1 solid core per week if it's not on the same day that you're swimming. What else did you mention?
Volleyball.
That's fine. Tom Selleck used to be a big volleyball guy. Do you know who Tom Selleck is?
You know who he is? He's the guy with the mustache that everybody liked, right?
That's right.
That's a while ago.
Yeah, he was a big volleyball guy back in the 80s. Chris, you could probably find photos.
He still has that stash. And isn't he on CBS every week still?
Who knows? But I need you to find him in a volleyball uniform on the court. I know I'm not wrong about that. I think Tom Selleck used to play volleyball.
But people
do think of this episode has gotten very, very weird today. Normally you're like, hey, can you pull up this exercise machine? Today you're like, can you pull up shirtless men for me?
Yeah. Well, I think he's got a shirt on. He didn't play beach volleyball. He was like, I think Olympic caliber. I think, I don't know why I think that. You could do that, but you got to spend, you got to give yourself, how old are you, Alex?
34.
You're still young enough to where you can recuperate really fast, but you got to hit the muscles you want to grow. You got to hit them twice a week. And there's got to be at least, if you do 3 sets, the third set's got to go pretty close to failure, that kind of thing. If you do 2 sets, the second set's got to go pretty close to failure. You got to stimulate the muscles you want to grow at least twice a week.
Oh, I missed one. The
Sure.
really good one. To grow muscle, you want to aim for 3 to 5 reps versus 8 to 10. Is that a myth too?
It's somewhat of a myth. 15 is too many, right? 12 is too many. When you're old like me and Kurt, there you go. Look at him on the left. The guy's a volleyball player.
Bring those shorts back.
Yeah. I love the shorty shorts. I still rock them. I see the ladies at the gym checking me out. That's right. I think they're looking at me going, look at that weirdo.
This is the best video ever. I always listen to the podcast, but I never see the video. Like, people are missing out on a lot today.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, you got to go watch the video. When you look, I do a set of my first set of everything is 12. I like to get the synovial fluid moving. Second set, I do where I want to get, somewhere between 7 and 8, somewhere around there. If I start getting 9 or 10, that means I got to move it up next time. And then on my third set, I'm doing 3 or 4 reps. Right. And I'm not like cheating them up or whatever. They're 3 or 4, rock solid reps, slow to where I'm barely getting that last one up. If I'm on a bench press, I'll grab someone in the gym and say, hey, keep an eye on me. Just stand behind me. If it lands on my chest, help me up with it. That's the only way to get strong, is the only way to put on mass.
That's what I've learned in the gym. Like, in solid core, they're always like, if you do it any faster than 4 Mississippi seconds, you're going too fast. And they do a really good job of that. And in the boot camp classes, I'm always slow, and they're always like, why do you move so slowly? I'm like, because I'm trying to get stronger.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. Moving fast. That's why when I see, these idiots doing, kip ups. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I had someone tell me once, I could do 25 pull-ups. I said, let me see. They started doing kips. I mean, whoa, stop. And I said, okay, I'm going to show you one pull-up, and I want to see how many you could do like this. They got to 6. 6. Right? Doing, just controlled pull-ups. Someone who claimed they could do 25 got to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Do them right, or don't do them at all. Yeah. Well, Alex, please keep us posted. We're going to move on to Sean.
Thank you. Thanks for taking all that time.
Oh, please. That's why we're here. Chris.
So, Vinny, I may have missed it. He asked you a question about my favorite fitness supplement, something I know you absolutely love, pre-workouts. He said pre-workouts and creatine. And I know we talked about creatine.
Bring him back up real quick. I want to ask him which pre-workout he's taking.
None. It's none. I don't take any.
Okay, because there's all kinds of stimulants and sugar and everything else. And they'll tell you, oh, yeah, we put L-alanine or L-arginine or L-citrine, all these different things, and they're going to help you be stronger. There's no science to prove any of that. If there were, I'd be telling you guys to take it, right? I tell you to take creatine. Why? Because there's some science showing that it works.
Right. Exactly.
Do you know why pre-workouts work? Why it gets people into the gym?
Because it's usually caffeine and sugar, or guarana,
right.
It's like caffeine.
200 grams of caffeine. Yeah, that would get me motivated enough to go to the gym. If you need that pick-me-up, give yourself a nice shot of coffee. Something like that.
Oh, I always drink a coffee on the way to, if I'm working out down here, my espresso machine is right next to my squat rack. If I'm going in town, I'll do a double espresso and drink it on my way to the gym in town. it gives you a perceived effort of everything being easier. It's just a perceived effort. But coffee is the best ergogenic you can have for any athletics. On that note, we're going to move on to Sean because this show is getting a little long in the tooth.
Sean, go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the camera if you're ready for us to bring you in. Vinny, this is our buddy Sean Watkins.
Sean, it's good to see your face. I see where you take my podcast every day and you put them up on the X.
Yes, sir. And I started doing that on the alternative one, Blue Sky. Anna's over there, so I tag her and on the Mondays.
What's Blue Sky, Chris? Can you? What is that all about?
Blue Sky is essentially a copy of Twitter that has the old Twitter rules. So the people who no longer want to be on Twitter because it's more Wild West than it was in the past have headed over to Blue Sky as an alternative. It's also very popular in Brazil, where Twitter was banned, at least temporarily. They saw a huge increase in users on Blue Sky.
Should we be on Blue Sky?
Ask Sean that question. What's the interaction like over there?
It's very warm and cuddly over there, a little less angry, and but I don't care. I like both. I kind of like to jump into the shit sometimes, you know?
Hang on. If you didn't know it, there's a song that reminds me of Blue Sky, and it's this song right here by ELO. Are you guys familiar with that song?
I am.
Mr. Blue Sky, ELO. That's right.
Oh, man.
Great album.
Good stuff right there. I like it whenever I can remind somebody of a good song.
Yeah. Don't Let Me Down, Bruce. People think it's Bruce with a B. It's Bruce with a G.
I pity the fool.
All right. So what's on your mind, Sean?
So I had a couple questions about working out, but you answered those just recently. But I don't have any workout equipment. So what would you recommend for some push exercises other than like push-ups, or would you consider dips being a good push exercise?
I would. Dips are great for your lower chest, your triceps, and your deltoids. People don't realize that. You could get really big deltoids just by doing dips. Most people don't understand that. Of course, you mentioned push-ups. You said besides push-ups, but that's what I always tell people. Oh, you don't have a gym? You have a floor, right? Boom, push-ups. And by the way, I saw this woman set the world record. This 59-year-old grandmother set the world record in push-ups the other day. Don't do them like she was doing them. You just have to break 90 degrees, I guess, for the record. You want to go all the way down, tits to grass and up, tits to grass and up. Dips. Anyone can do dips. You can figure out how to do dips. It takes a little, if you have a little room, go on Facebook Marketplace or on Blue Sky, wherever the hell you like to go, and find yourself a bench that can lay flat and come up. You might find it for less than $100, and get yourself some dumbbells. Go to Play It Again Sports or wherever, find them around. People, you would be shocked. You go to garage sales. If I see a garage sale on the weekends, I pull over. There's always dumbbells at a garage sale. I don't care where you are. There's kettlebells and dumbbells at garage sales. And go get them. Or if you see like an estate sale, someone died and they're doing an estate sale and you think they're just selling silver and all this kind of stuff, there's going to be gym equipment, right? You could build up a gym for almost nothing and you don't need a lot of space, right? Once you have that bench, you could do, lunges for your legs. You could do Bulgarian split squats, which is a lunge where one leg is up on the bench.
I use my steps for that. I remember one of the episodes you and Anna were talking about them, and I was trying them as you were talking about it, and I've gotten up to be able to do like reps of 10 on that. But
nice.
My gait is very suspect with because I have MS, and so my gait's awkward, but it's been helping do all of this. So it's like first I had to stop eating all that crap, and then I had to start exercising.
Have you found that not eating crap has helped with the MS, with the symptoms of MS?
Very much so. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about was that the inflammation is down a lot, but my doctors look at me like they're gonna like I'm about to die on the table because my cholesterol's so high. So I use some of that the information from one of the podcasts and send it to my doctor, so he's not having me do statins anymore.
I just did a show an hour ago before we started this show with Dr. Brett Shear, who he was in my first 2 documentaries, and he's been on this show several times. And for at least 30 minutes of the show, we talk about cholesterol and the actual markers. He's not some kind of denialist about cholesterol. I love having Brett Shear on the show. Go back 1 week. That show is going to come. So, folks, if you're listening to this show, go back one Friday and you will get Dr. Brett Shear talking about cholesterol. And it's not what it's cracked up to be. I'll tell you that.
So then should I just pretty much just ignore the doctor and just advocate?
No. If a doctor thinks your cholesterol is a problem, is this a general practitioner?
It is.
Okay. If he thinks it's a problem, consult a cardiologist. Go get a CAC. There are things you can do before you take a life-altering drug.
I take them. All the side effects that I've heard you talk about and what it does, it makes my symptoms worse.
Yeah.
So like the collagen protein peptides have helped with like the weird the small tissue regrowth. I was having issues from lifting.
Yeah.
And I don't have those issues anymore thanks to you telling me about the sale at Costco with collagen peptides. So
they always have 1 or 2 of the different collagen peptides on sale at Costco. If it's not one brand, it's another. Right. And listen, I'm not a cholesterol denialist like they say I am on Rational Wiki. You could have a problem, but we don't, that's like putting a cast on your left arm and it's not broken. Right? Why would you cast it? Go figure out if a doctor says, if a general practitioner says, I want to put you on a statin, he's really not qualified to put you on a statin. Go get an expert opinion. Go find a cardiologist. Go get a CAC score. Get your GP to get you set up with a CAC. See where your calcium score is. It might be 0. In that case, you don't have to go any further. You already know. Right?
Right.
Take steps to learn what's going on. I will never tell anyone, whole hog, don't get on a statin. There are people who may need to be on that drug. But as you said, the side effects of that drug are many. So you could be robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you don't want to do that.
Nope. Definitely not. But I just also wanted to thank you for all the free information that you give us. It's helped me immensely in about a year and a half that I've found about it. So Roby 2.0, and that's why I share all that stuff on all the social media I can.
I appreciate you doing that, and please feel free to keep doing it. We love it, and good luck with all of it. Keep me posted, Sean.
For sure. All right. Thank you.
You got it, brother. Chris, I think we have one more, right?
No, that's it. David popped back in just to be hanging out with us.
Okay, cool. Oh, I love when David comes on. All right, so we've done it, man. Look at us. Look at us. Folks, if you like what we're doing here, we're going to keep doing these call-in shows. As a matter of fact, at some point, we're going to do them live on Friday. Well, we might do them live on Thursday and then put the show up Friday or whatever. Chris and I are still working out the details. Right, Chris?
Yes, sir.
And we'll probably do them YouTube live and then put them up as podcast. So then anyone can call in. Who knows? We might get vegans calling in. I want everyone. I don't like to just talk to the choir. I like to talk to everyone. So we're going to put it out there for people to call in if they want to. Right, Chris?
I think if we do it live, we need to do it on X and on YouTube. Now that X allows us to do some live streaming, I think that would potentially be interesting.
Yeah,
we want to get some different people.
And we're trying to get bumper music to bump in and out. I like the songs I did tonight, like Baba O'Reilly and Mr. Blue Sky. I wonder if they're available. You think they're available?
I found Baba O'Reilly, not the original version, but a cover of it on the service we were talking about yesterday.
Really?
Now, you just said robbing Peter to pay Paul, and the only thing that I can think of now is Peter, Paul, and Mary. So a little Puff the Magic Dragon to play us off. No, we're going to find a few things. And I think the other thing I would say, Vinny, is if we're going to do this live, give us some suggestions for bumper music as well. Tag Vinny or tag me on X.
Hey, Chris. All right. So do you have it pulled up right there? The fake version. I'm going to play the real version right here again. And I want to hear the fake version and see how close it is. Here's the real version. So I'm going to go out on this. So folks, you know what to do. Villa Capelli. Villa Capelli is the best olive oil on the planet. Go get Villa Capelli. Let them know we sent you. Put in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get 10% off. If you spend more than $125 after the discount, you'll also get free shipping over at Villa Capelli. So check them out. You can check out Chris at NSNG Chris on X. He's there. Who knows? He might be on Mr. Blue Sky real soon. So go check that out. You know what to do. It's the holidays. It's Christmas. We all go shopping on Amazon for Christmas. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner. It puts coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. We're able to keep this show free forever and a day. Also, one more thing, folks. Vinnie Tortorich /VIP. Put your name in. We're going to open it up for the new year. On behalf of Chris and everyone else that was on the show, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with this group